Following Diddy's cases, not guilty decision, Jaguar Wright warned Cassie that Diddy may seek retribution, and his daughters appeared willing to support him. This is what's happening. Jaguar Wright's feelings for Diddy have never been concealed. For years, she has been among his most vocal detractors. However, she escalated the situation during his trial by criticizing Diddy, his family, and particularly his daughters. She even implied that the twins didn't appear depressed enough based on their behavior during the case.
Hey girls, congratulations on your graduation. Have you spoken to your dad? How's he?
The twins were silent at first, while their father was still in court. They didn't want to attract any more attention. They aren't remaining silent, though, now that the trial is finished and Diddy defeated the allegations. Delilah and Jesse are clapping back vigorously. Additionally, it appears like they are prepared to confront Jaguar head-on. Why, then, is Jaguar so preoccupied with the twins and not Chance Diddy's other daughter? The way the females conduct themselves in public is the reason why some people believe it. Throughout it all, the twins have been active, going to events, participating on social media, and maintaining their opulent lifestyle, while Chance has remained silent and low-key. They have been taking yacht vacations and attending concerts. Well, as attending elite gatherings, in essence, they have continued to live their lives in the same manner. However, that's precisely what annoys folks like Jaguar. Some people thought the girls would avoid the spotlight because of everything that was going on with their dad, including the grave accusations and long-running rumors regarding their mother, Kim Porter's unexpected passing. They appeared to be louder than before, instead, and it appeared to Jaguar that they were unconcerned. The death of Kim Porter has generated a lot of discussion on the internet. Before she passed away, some people think she intended to publish a tell-all book. According to the narrative, Kim had been writing about Diddy's private life, his secrets, and all she saw when they were dating. Some have questioned whether her death was more than a tragedy as a result of such rumor. And everything went haywire when a book purporting to be Kim's covert memoir appeared online. There were others who thought it was the book she had been writing. However, Diddy's children quickly put an end to that. In a statement, Jesse, Delilah, and Chance claimed that their mother never wrote anything like that and that the book was a hoax. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue, they stated plainly. Individuals who assert that they have a manuscript are lying. However, Jaguar Wright disagrees with them.
I'll be sure who has a son with Kim Porter. That's Quincy, right?
Yeah.
Has kind of for a while, spoke about this conspiracy theory that Puffy has something to do with Kim Porter's death or something like that. I personally have never believed that. Do you think there's any truth in that at all?
I don't want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? But I also ain't know everything, all this stuff that's going on. So one thing I know that Puff loves is money more than anything in the world. You know what I'm saying? So with me not knowing all of this other stuff that was going on, I don't know mentally. Like mentally, I can't even see him doing half of the shit that they've proven that he's been doing. So in my mind, the way that I see him with the kids and the way I see him with Kim and everything like that, I would say if somebody was to ask me, I would say no, he don't have nothing to do with it. But after everything that I've been seeing lately and everything that's going on, I don't want the media to sway me in one way or another. I would say no. But then if Kim was talking about threatening to come out with different things, I don't put that past him.
You know, I spoke to Al a couple of times, and he texted me a couple of times too. I think knowing the history of them two, if he did increase his security, he have every right to. And I believe that Al knows that Puff has some powerful people or has some powerful people around him and some people doing some things for him that could danger his life. His life could be in danger. I don't think nobody would be paying for some security if they didn't think their life was in danger. So I can see Al doing that. I understand why Al is doing that. And I just wish them all the luck. You gotta realize, man, Kim's death wasn't even investigated, bro. Her death wasn't even investigated. And it should have been a proper investigation so all the family members can feel like that there was no foul play in her death. How is it that you know how we are as a people? I don't believe that 10% of your viewers that's watching this don't keep their phone when they go to sleep in arm reach. How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim's bed? Her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing. Everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they not at home or her friends or family. All that's missing. That's a big one, man. You gotta understand, man, that it's a lot of stuff that has been happening. Now, some people even said that her casket was ordered 2 months before she died. I don't believe that, man. I swear. I'm not no conspiracy theorist or none of that. But I heard, did you hear something like that, man? That her casket, how you order a gold casket 2 months before somebody died, man? If I'm gonna pay, or they gonna get the money up, what is it, to resume her body? If they gonna get the money up to dig her body back up and have a real autopsy done on her, have a real investigation on her, who's it gonna hurt? I've been knowing Al for a long time. And this is in the 90s when he walked through Eddie F house and it was about 100 degrees. Me and him, we talk about this all the time because he be laughing about it. He walked through Eddie F. He was going to Eddie F house in a black leather suit. And it was about 100 degrees outside. Al ain't no fool, bro. Al is not a fool, and he's smart by getting extra security. I don't blame him at all. If I wasn't retired.
The twins have supported Diddy in spite of the rumors. They have supported him, appeared in court, and continued to be active on social media. They believe that being faithful to their father is more significant than keeping quiet to appease the internet. However, despite their outward strength, the trial was difficult for them, according to multiple reports. According to several accounts, the testimony given in court, particularly by one woman who detailed suspected behind-the-scenes events, left the girls feeling extremely frightened. No matter how strong someone tries to come across, that kind of knowledge can be traumatizing. However, Diddy appears to be recovering.
Right before Kim passed away, and when he found out that her and Cassie were still secretly talking and meeting, it became a very explosive situation for everyone who knew about it. I hate the fact that she felt so terrified to tell the truth about the man that she had 3 biological children with, that she felt the need to have to be as covert as she was. But I'm grateful that Kim got her truth to people that she trusted. Problem is she didn't know who she could trust and couldn't trust. I have no doubt in my mind that pieces of that memoir have been acquired by the home team, and that bad actors were incorporated so that they could put just enough spin to create reasonable doubt in the jury pool. It's a smart play, because there is no way that these 2 people who really had absolutely nothing to do with anyone involved got this much information directly from Kim Porter. It didn't happen. I'm telling you that now. And every person that they have these salacious stories built around are people that Diddy has issues with. It lined up too good in his favor when you really think about it. And if I were him and I had a team of PR agents, the first thing that I would have done is let's get our hands on a piece of the book, get as much as we can. We'll take as much trash as we can, throw it around it, and put it out there. Now, I'm not saying that that's what these authors did. I'm saying that whatever they got, it was prepackaged for them to earnestly move forward with it as it was real. But I'm telling you, this is orchestrated. This woman, for months and years, was silently trying to get the pieces of her diary out there. So if anything happened to her, people would know the truth. I truly doubt what she wanted everyone to know was all of this weird stuff. But I tell you what it does do. It creates sympathy for the devil, because the way those stories were spun in these narratives, it made everyone seem like they were just as bad as Diddy, right? Whatever tapes he turned over, they already have. They already have. Whatever Kim was able to get and parcel out, she got it from Diddy directly. Which means this could be nothing more than clips that were taken from what the FBI has already uncovered, what they already took in. I think that's why they put the gag order, because they just wanted to make sure that he couldn't say anything else.
Jaguar Wright is now cautioning that Diddy may be prepared to act now that his girls are showing more vigor. She is also instructing Cassie to keep an eye on her. It's obvious that Diddy's daughters are tired of being polite, regardless of whether dad truly intends to exact revenge. They're not scared to push back now that they're in the spotlight. According to sources, Jesse and Delilah were so upset by what they heard that they sobbed as they left the courthouse. Furthermore, no one is particularly shocked that they were unable to see the full affair given the unsettling statements the escort made during her testimony. Jaguar initially appeared to sympathize with the girls. She went so far as to say that they were only helping Diddy because he was financially dominating them. However, that even when Diddy was still incarcerated, sympathy didn't last long, especially after the twins resumed showing off their lifestyle. Jesse and Delilah recently disclosed that they have no intention of going to college after high school, even though they are seniors now, based on their behavior. You wouldn't guess their father was charged with anything major.
News in the Sean Combs prostitution case. His defense lawyers just dropped their push to speed up his sentencing. It comes after Combs was acquitted last week of the most serious charges against him, but convicted on 2 lesser charges and remains behind bars while he awaits his sentencing. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson is live in Lower Manhattan. And Kim, there was a lot of back and forth on this issue today between attorneys.
Listen, yeah, and all that back and forth actually happened before today's 2 o'clock hearing. The hearing lasted less than 2 minutes and literally was a full circle moment. All parties involved agreed to the judge's original sentencing date of October 3rd. This was all done by conference call. No one was physically in the courtroom on the 24th floor here, except for members of the media and the public. We briefly did hear from Sean Combs say hello, and his attorney mentioned he was in his office. 2 federal prosecutors were also on that conference call. So, as it stands now, Sean Combs will remain behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. A jury found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in last week, but the 55-year-old was acquitted of racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking. At the time, the judge rejected a $1 million bail package and proposed October 3rd for sentencing. The defense fiercely objected, pointing out Combs was found not guilty of the most serious charges and asked the judge to expedite sentencing. Combs' legal team even went as far as citing, quote, exceptional circumstances. The fact that the mother of 4 of Combs' kids is no longer alive, Kim Porter, passed away in 2018. The government urged the judge to stand firm in that October date. We did expect to hear more back and forth today, and it's not clear why the defense essentially walked back its request. Moving forward, Combs will be interviewed, and a report must be handed in on or before August 29th.
They ask him all about his background. Has he ever had any convictions? And obviously, the probation department looks up and determines whether or not that's accurate. But they interview him first. What is he doing in the community? Has he committed any, crimes? Has he donated to any charities? So they want to get all of their background on him to make a final determination, because under the federal sentencing guidelines, you have to consider all of that before you sentence an individual.
Now, one thing the defense will no doubt highlight and will hope will play into the judge's sentence, they insist that Sean Combs has been in therapy and working on himself, something Combs claims was actually happening at the time of his arrest in that Manhattan hotel room, September 16th of last year.
Rumor has it that Jaguar Wright hasn't slowed down. as long as the money continues to come. She has been accusing the twins of being outright psychopaths who don't give a damn about the purported victims. According to Jaguar, their allegiance isn't primarily motivated by familial or romantic ties. It's about maintaining their existing way of life. Like the other families, their response to Diddy's decision was undoubtedly intriguing.
That you're committed to. So Jesse and I are not going to college. We're going to be wearing one of our brand hoodies. Because we are rapping that we will be business owners.
Here are Diddy's twin daughters talking about how they will not be attending college after high school. These two are a senior currently, and you would not think that their father is currently incarcerated against these charges because they are acting like nothing has happened. Also, I think it's interesting they're not going to college. They're going to assume the role as business owners, which no shade to them, but a business degree might help. Maybe even one of you guys becoming a lawyer could maybe help the family out. I don't know how they do it. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't be able to show my face, but these two are out and about. They went to their college prom wearing the same dress, which, we love twins that dress alike. I did see some shady posts on Lipstick Alley where people were calling out the fact that they always wear the same clothing, which, is cute if you're a twin and you're like 6 years old. I don't know. You'd think maybe growing up they would start to separate a little bit, but they're not. Honestly, I pray for these girls because of what their mother had gone through and the current situation with their father. I feel like they could use some prayers. I don't know, something does irk me a little bit with how they are just so nonchalant. Like, they truly do not care.
There's also another theory out there. Some people believe the twins were being ostentatious recently because they were afraid that if Diddy was convicted, the court may freeze his money. Rumor had it that the girls were even ready to flee the nation in order to access money that Diddy was supposedly hiding in their offshore accounts and identities. However, it's noteworthy that Diddy's sentence date has been postponed.
Family members cheered today's verdict. Combs' son, Christian, telling ABC News how happy he is.
Hey, yo, we love y'all. We love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming home. God bless. God bless the whole world.
What was going through your head when the verdict was read? Happy.
He is still facing up to 20 years in prison on these lesser charges. They are arguing he should be held until his sentencing, Kira.
So, Bernarda, if Combs does stay in custody, how much jail time do you expect he would actually serve?
So in terms of if the judge does decide that Sean Combs remains in custody pending sentencing, the judge will ultimately determine what his sentence is. You have to think that the sentencing is not going to take place in another week or two. We're talking about months from now that the sentence will take place. And in terms of all the time that he's already been in custody, he's going to get credit for that time. So no matter what amount of sentence the judge sentences him to, he'll get credit for about the 9 months that he has been in custody. Yes, he faces a maximum of 10 years on each of those counts. Highly unlikely that this judge is going to max Sean Combs out. He can give him probation, he could give him time served, or give him something more of a year, 2 years, or even 3 years on each of these counts.
So, Kelly, how does this verdict impact Combs' legacy as an entertainer, as a music mogul moving forward, you think?
I think it does impact his legacy because we have to talk about this in addition to talking about his 3 decades as being a pop culture icon. You know, this is a human who has touched every facet of business, of industry, you know, politics, film, TV, music, Broadway, spirits, fashion, you know, but we also now have to talk about this case and the role that that plays and that legacy. And I think it's significant because unfortunately people are going to be able to unhear some of that testimony that they read, and they're most certainly going to be able to unsee that video footage from that 2016 Intercontinental incident between him and Cassie Ventura. And I think that that's going to be part.
When Diddy offered up his children's passports to pay bail last year, fans began to piece things together. They are probably the names on offshore accounts, according to one admirer. They don't want him using the money in offshore accounts to pay off people, move money abroad, or silence others. Accounts cannot be accessed without going there. Some significant withdrawals must be started in person. However, the twins ultimately didn't need to go. Diddy was found not guilty by the jury of the most serious RICO counts. Even though he was found guilty on a few other offenses, he probably won't be going to prison for decades. According to some accounts, he may even serve time and be freed shortly, which would ensure their legacy is secure and may account for the twins. increased confidence in pursuing Jaguar. Additionally, Jaguar clarified that Diddy has a history of pursuing those who pursue him, and his daughters could now follow suit.
The hearing unexpectedly adjourned following the conviction of Sean Diddy Combs last week. In fact, defense attorneys and federal prosecutors initially agreed to a September 22nd sentencing date for Combs. This is ahead of a remote hearing that was set for this afternoon. But shortly before the hearing, attorneys for both sides sent a joint letter to the judge saying that they had agreed to the original proposed sentencing date of October 3rd. Combs was acquitted of racketeering, conspiracy, and convicted on 2 counts of prostitution-related charges. He faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison on those counts. And our ABC News chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky has the latest.
And Sean Combs is going to be sentenced this fall after he was convicted of 2 counts of prostitution-related charges that together carry a maximum prison term of up to 20 years. He is unlikely to get that much, but federal prosecutors are expected to ask for at least 5 years. Combs will receive credit for time served, which will subtract about a year from the ultimate sentence. His acquittal on racketeering conspiracy charges took away the possibility of life in prison for Combs, who's preparing to ask for leniency. The defense has already argued Combs has taken steps to address what the judge called a propensity for violence, as seen on 2016 hotel security camera footage. And his attorney said Combs began a batterers program in New York prior to his arrest. The defense has also argued Combs did not make money from prostitution, but rather was the primary client of the male escorts he was convicted of transporting. His attorneys were prepared to ask for an expedited sentencing. They backed off that at the last minute, and so the judge has set Sean Combs' sentencing.
He should serve 4 or 5 years. According to the prosecution, in order to give him extra time, the government wants him to serve consecutive sentences on these 2 offenses. According to CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, I've got to fight the good fight if someone comes to me and they say they've been victimized by somebody powerful, somebody famous, but there are only a few people in the country that have the courage to represent them, and I'm proud to be one of those, said Tony Busby, an attorney who represents a number of people suing Diddy. In fact, Tony and DJ Vlad got into a furious argument over Piers Morgan's recent trial verdict.